New year, fresh start, and all the same old crazy mess? What? Is getting your homeschool organized on your list of New Year's resolutions? Guess what? Today I have got practical tips for you to get the paperwork and the book quicksand under control and take off on that nice, beautiful, smooth, organized highway. Welcome to Homeschool University, where life meets learning. I'm Diana Applegate, your homeschool mentor, bringing you practical tips, purposeful advice, and positive homeschool encouragement. So odds are if you're homeschooling, you've got books and papers. Oh wait, and then you've got some books and papers. Oh my gosh, and then you have books and papers literally everywhere. Oh, but that's okay. You can still get organized. It's not too late and it's not impossible. Today I'm going to give you my tips, my top tips for organizing your personal mess. And these tips really work. These are tips that don't involve buying a bunch of pricey storage containers or changing everything about how your homeschool works. No, these are small steps that you can use right now to change everything about your homeschool organization and then to make it stick. Each of my kids had their very own dish tub. That's right, just your plain old dollar store, plastic, nothing fancy dish tub. And into the tub went every book, every notebook, every pencil, every paper, markers, whatever you got. If it has to do with today's schoolwork, boom, it's in the tub. And these things are great because they'll fit almost any size book. Seriously, even an oversized book. They're lightweight, yahoo, but really sturdy. And look at this. They are easy to carry even for little hands because they have handles on the ends. Yes. All those small little doodaddy things, you know, pencils, erasers, all that stuff, boom, in the tub. No falling out. And here's the big bonus. Every kid can decorate their tub to their heart's content. Now think about this, Mom. No more chasing down the supplies that you need for today. No more, I can't find my book. Oh my gosh. No more piles next to work areas. No more schoolwork disappearing into the black hole that I like to call a teenager's bedroom. It's like, if it's schoolwork, it's in the tub, period. That's it. Now, I also kept a couple of these spare babies around to put in things like science experiments, art projects, anything that had special supplies and had a lot of different parts to it. Everything would go in the tub, ready for action. Who knew? Regular old copy paper comes in, get this, colors. Not only is this a fun fact, but this is super useful for your homeschool. You know, I don't know about you, but I made a fair amount of copies for my kids through the years. I mean, like a few million, I'm pretty sure. And what the result of that was all kinds of white papers flying around. I mean, we had copies for daily, weekly schedules. We had copies for charts and maps and poems we were working on memorizing. Anything that came out of a larger book that could be distilled to a single page. And we also had some workbooks that you could copy for family use. And that way I didn't have to discard and start over with consumable workbooks, which was a big money saver. So all these papers flying around, plus you have the added problem, the added grief of trying to figure out whose paper is whose. Who left this here? One of those. So, colored copy paper to the rescue. Oh yes. Now When I assigned a color to each kid, I knew exactly whose blue papers were scattered all over the floor. And I also knew which dish tub that yellow schedule belonged to. And bonus points on this one, the kids all learned the color system, which means that they got really good at shoving those loose papers at the correct sloppy sibling. I love three-ring binders. Heart, 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 heart. Oh my gosh, they are the pinnacle of organized paper. Each of my kids had binders for any and all subjects that involved loose papers. Good example would be completed math sheets. You need to keep them to the end of the school year, but good golly, do they add up. Especially because I normally assigned a single page of math every day, and I usually just tore the perforated page right out of the big clunky book. Note on that, I don't know if it helped, but I always thought that a single page was less intimidating. I mean, I would personally much rather be handed a single sheet of something I didn't want to do than a big thick book of the same. Anyway, this great mom psychology meant plenty of papers flying around at the end of every school day. I like to use a single large binder per kid and put in dividers to separate the subjects. But we also had binders for special subjects like history timelines, art projects, and geography with all those maps. For me personally, I used one for schedules and planning sheets, one for teaching notes, pretty much one for anything that I wanted to have handy. To this day, I still use binders for all my household paperwork. I mean, they're cheap, they are easy to get things in and out of, and best of all, each paper has its own parking space. Because between you and me, don't we all know that someday papers and cockroaches will take over the planet? I'm talking plain manila folders here. Although, hey, you could get fancy. They come in colors, and you know how much I love colors. Anytime I assigned a loose sheet of paper, I put it in that kid's to-do/done folder, and then the folder went right on top in the dish tub. At the end of the day, hey, voila! All the papers are in one place, and it's really easy to transfer them over to those magical binders. So that meant no more hunting through the entire dish tub for a single sheet of paper, or worse, on those terrible, horrible, no good days, hunting through a teenager's floor-drobe. I also put in the folder that kid's schedule for the day. And for the little ones, I actually stapled the schedule to the front of the folder. I will talk more about that in a couple minutes here. Again, added bonus, the folders can be decorated and personalized. By the way, I need to take a second and explain my whole thing with making it yours, which is really important in my book. I mean, let's face it, kids need to take ownership of their responsibilities. By personalizing their tools, I believe that that puts them on that road, okay? It's really no different than having a desk in an office. In fact, long ago in a galaxy far, far away, and I do mean both of those things, I was a warranty clerk for car dealerships. And one of the quirky things that I learned to be more productive personally, because I did travel from one dealership to another all day, was at every single stop, I unpacked my briefcase. I made my workspace personal. I didn't feel like I was just shuffling papers anymore. I was doing something that reflected on me personally, and it mattered if the thing was done with my own personal flair. And I have found repeatedly, working with families where kids are really pushing back and not wanting to do the things that they're asked to do, making it personal makes a huge difference. So I say, let your kids decorate to their heart's content. One of the things my homeschool method relies on is reading good books. I'm not talking here reading just for the sake of reading. No, I'm talking about reading the books that shape who we are. Reading all those fabulous books that your parents and your grandparents read as kids. Now, mind you, I'll be doing a video about how to choose what your kids read in future. But for just now, we'll say that the books that your kids read are a really big part of that well-rounded education. So the thing is, especially if you have multiple kids, you have to be able to keep track of who has read what. This is really important when you get to the high school years because a bibliography of books is a fabulous attachment to a transcript. But keeping track of this doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it can be really simple. It just comes down to using a lined sheet of paper with columns for you to record the basics like date read, the title of the book, the author, the library due date, if that applies. And most importantly, that child's up or down vote on the book, which helps you figure out exactly what sort of books he or she enjoys reading. I used my logs over multiple years, basically until a page was filled, rather than a new sheet every year, and then I kept all those sheets in my planning binder. That way, anytime I was ready to assign a book to a kid to read, hey, I already knew they hadn't read it, and that gave me a ready resource when it came to transcript time. Let's review today's practical tips for organizing your school day. Number 1, dish tubs. Number 2, colored copies. Number 3, binders. Number 4, to-do/done folders. Number 5, reading logs. That's it for today. Remember, be practical, be purposeful, be positive. You can do this because you, that's right, you are amazing.